Welcome back to ESL One Frankfurt 2016. We are about to kick off game number 2 between NaVi and Virtus.Pro. The CIS buds having a good old-fashioned fight. It's a bit of a slugfest from game 1. Looking forward to a little bit more. We've also changed things up on the panel a little bit more as well. We've got Bambo back with us.
I'm back.
How you doing? You're back.
Good, I'm good.
He's back. You all right? Good? Did you enjoy that first game?
I want to watch the CS battles.
Yeah. It's fun, isn't it?
It's always fun.
It's like tuning into a pub game.
Yep, pretty much.
Speaking of pub games, I actually want to ask you two. You both played on Zephyr together. Who was the best player on that team?
Is that actually a question?
Is that even a question? I'm standing next to the man.
Let's be honest, dude.
Right?
Dude, I carried Bambo more than that footstool is carrying him right now in height.
Wow!
You want to go there, dude?
Okay, can we
if I
pass
stood
that?
on top of that, I want
hold on
people
a
to know, like,
Wait.
this is how much taller I get as a result of this.
What is
this?
Pauline Haas is just getting older and older.
Why is there a Doom icon on my thing? I know Hoppin made this.
I was ready to ride and die with you, and then this thing comes up.
I think Bambi was the best player.
By far.
What colour's that thing down there? Why have you
If there
got
would be a
that?
poll right now, it would be 90-1.
Pointing at his crotch,
90-1.
asking him what color
90-1. The amount of games Bambo threw us.
Yeah, I'm with you, Will. That's all I was going to say. I'm with you. No
So we
problem.
played together. You know me.
Dude, they played
know how I
together.
am.
That was like the
We
worst
played 4
iteration
games.
of EG.
I mean, him carrying him is worse than you carrying me. No, wait, actually, that's probably...
No, it's not.
Let's move on anyway. Draft number 2 is almost upon us, and we'll get back to some sensible stuff. Finally, Jacob.
Oh, you ask sensible stuff and then you ask me. Oh,
Well,
okay.
It's the lesser of 3 evils.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so...
You're supposed to be older and sensible. That's the point we were getting at.
we actually halved the age of the panel when we took Nahas off. So from NaVi, I'd like to see the Enchantress. I'd like to see art style, first of all, on his jungle roles, and I'd just like to see that aggression that it brings early game.
Okay.
I wanted
You didn't like the AA?
You want an offlane bottom?
The general
Didn't
offlane bottom.
Didn't enjoy the AA?
No, unlike you guys, I actually didn't find it particularly good.
No.
I don't think his ultis were that good.
Turn to pick.
But I just kept it to myself. No reason to flame.
That's very kind of you.
Yeah, I'm a very positive guy.
Do you agree, Bambo, that VP should have won that first game?
By far. Did
Yeah,
you see
I-
Yoki's network?
Yeah, I
He had
thought
like
that.
14K
Yeah,
eyes on.
Will got tilted up here watching that game.
It's frustrating watching a team lose like that because you know that VP is capable of more, and to see them kind of go in like that.
Okay, we're going to get some bat bounty.
This is one of my favorite openers because it just screams aggression and ganks.
Yep.
So
Like
I love it
uh,
when I see a Bat Rider bounty opening.
And NaVi have done it before.
Yeah.
Bambo Bat Rider, fond memories of that in Korea.
You want to be reminded of the fucking NSL finals? How I single-handedly destroyed the top lane?
All right, I've actually had the displeasure of playing with Bambo and Demon on the same team at the same time. That's the most throwy lineup you can. You don't even have to add other players.
Dude, my heart
When
couldn't
was
handle
the last
just
time I threw
Bambo.
a game? When was the last time I threw a game?
Last time you played a game.
I don't know how. That's why Jacob quit Dota. Once he was on that lineup, he's like, I can't do this.
Yeah, that's just tilted me for life.
5 seconds remaining.
All right, guys, let's be
Congrats on being a
serious, shall we?
Why? We were enjoying that so much. You can carry on.
Okay, Slark. That's a really early
These are the
start.
natural bat kind of counters.
Yeah.
NaVi.
It's so hard for a bat to open up on Slark, I think.
It is.
Especially in laning phase, because you can just keep shedding the napalm stacks.
Also practicing on LAN, you all usually like play faster. Like your reactions are way faster
On land?
on LAN.
You think so?
Seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
Bambo's trying to say he's a land performer.
5
I am.
seconds remaining.
One day you'll get to play at LAN as well.
One day.
Reserve time.
When Kai P gets there. Dude, I have faith.
You gotta believe, man.
For your fan out there, man. All right, so 2 more bans. What's wrong, Paul? Dude, there's got to be somebody out there that's holding up a Bambo sign.
Turn to bat.
I'm not saying here, just somewhere.
Hey man, I like Bambi.
So do I, man. I lived with him for a year. It was great.
10
Was it?
seconds remaining.
Was it great?
You stole our couch, man.
5 seconds.
I like the
remaining.
Witch Doctor band coming out from NaVi. It's one of the ones that combos really well with
Reserve
Faceless
time.
Void when he ulties, and then Cask is just so annoying to play against.
I think Witch Doctor is super bad this meta. He just feels like he always gets run over.
Yeah. We were saying that in the first game, that he's just too slow. You can't keep up with the rest of your team.
Yeah, in these kind of fighty lineups.
Yeah. I think that's sometimes an ambiguous term, so I'll just clarify for people. When we say a hero is too slow or that it just doesn't fit right now, it just means the pace of the game. Like a hero like Witch
Yeah,
Doctor.
not physical movement.
Yeah, exactly. You can't really do anything with him as the game goes on later. Yeah, Death Ward is theoretically a great spell, but
You're basically a Cask, in my opinion.
yeah, exactly.
NaVi's turn
And
to
it's still
pick.
kind of RNG.
Huh. Okay.
Virtus.Pro.
They come back around and get a second phase this time,
Does that mean bat mid?
potentially.
Maybe Slaughter mid, the Quo style.
You think so? This early on,
Well,
though?
I think the key point is it's going to keep VP guessing as well.
Like a mind game.
One position Slaughter.
Jacob inventing new meta over there.
And that would be what MVP would do. But I think it's more likely that Slark goes off, bat is played by Dendi mid.
They could, like last pick an Invoker, but Slaughter safely. It goes well with the lineup.
Yeah, they have options.
There was no Drow band, phase 2. No Winrow. Both teams have run them. Both teams have run them together. And one with the Slark.
I don't think it fits at all here for either team.
What do you think about the saving mechanisms against bat? Oracle or Venge in this game?
I prefer Venge over Oracle.
Yeah, I'm with the Vengeful as well.
It's also
Oracle
good
was-
against Slaughter.
Oracle
He
was
jumps
quite popular yesterday again, wasn't it? Few picks from Oracle yesterday. Complexity even picked it one.
NaVi picked it against OG.
Yeah.
Soneko went off, but that hero also doesn't seem to have the most stable games.
Tell us
Yeah,
why
like
you didn't
Oracle,
mention
yeah.
Shadow Demon as one of the saving graces.
Shadow Demon? Just think the hero,
It's not really a save, it's like you disable your own hero.
yeah.
And then you have like 2 seconds of the enemy just running over you. Why just wait for that?
CM's been a popular pick for both teams as well over the last couple of months. Two of the few that are.
I
think it's okay here. Both these heroes benefit pretty heavily from the aura. The soft disable of Bite is okay against these heroes just because Slardar should get a later BKB in a game like this.
Just from info as well. Virtus.Pro decided for first pick. NaVi decided Dire.
And Dire Slardar.
I still think it's Invoker or Windrunner or Dandy.
It would be sick with Slardar.
It's so well here for them.
Does put Ditya Ra in a position though where he has to play the one position Slardar, and he usually seems like he's more comfortable doing otherwise. And
Virtus.Pro's turn to pick.
this is a really greedy support duo, Bounty Hunter and Chen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, you really think they can still?
They should abuse. They should abuse them. Put Slark solo against bats. And go aggro.
10
they will be really
seconds
strong.
remaining.
Yeah.
And the CM kind of counters the Chen creeps.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's probably
Jen is
the
really
greediest
worth it.
support pick they could do.
Yeah.
It's just odd because Chen isn't really going to do.
Resolve time.
You don't want Chen to be forced into lane to go to your safe lane. You want him to be mobile around the map. And
NaVi's turn
Bounty
to
Hunter is
bat.
kind of in a similar situation.
And he offers nothing against the lineup of Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, the Crystal Maiden's already pretty good against the Chen. And
Void and Slag.
yeah, it's not even like
I guess Chen has like no place here.
10 seconds
He's only
remaining.
defensive.
but it's an art style classic.
5 seconds
It
remaining.
is, and it is a push hero. They want to establish dominance.
Reserve time.
This last hero for Navi is going to tie so much together for them.
I prefer the Windrunner. It's also like nice with the bounty.
It gives them options to go later as well.
Virtus.Pro's turn
win
And
rate?
to
Roche.
bat.
It gives them Roche as well.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
I feel like they're so, not all in, but a lot of their damage source then would just come from Wind Ranger. Because you can expect Slardar to have rough laning phase, and they have so many different ways to single target and disable the Wind Ranger. Like, I feel like at that point, all you have to do as the Void is make sure she's in the chrono. Like, that's your only goal throughout this game.
Yeah, but how I see it is like whoever engages is gonna win the fight.
Yeah.
Just whoever goes first and like gets a good jump.
I guess NaVi do have two different ways.
They both have like good jumps.
5 seconds remaining.
Oh.
Virtus.Pro's turn to pick.
That's a Huskar ban. That was from when NaVi used it in Manila against Alliance.
A raw special.
10 seconds remaining.
So what times on this together, Blitz?
But they had a Shadow Priest that game, didn't they?
5 seconds remaining.
And DP.
Probably.
NaVi's turn to pick.
Okay, Death Prophet. So they just push the pace of the game. I think this is more balanced as well because they can go later on in the game.
Yeah, Virtus.Pro has a really well-rounded lineup.
We thought that last game too, man.
But it's even more well-rounded.
Even more circular.
5 seconds remaining.
This is a hard game for NaVi, I think.
They just need to survive the laning
Reserve
stage
time.
and they will be fine. That's like the hard part.
Yeah. They have two such greedy supports. They could still take a safe laner too if they decide they're just going to have a one-on-one matchup against a Void, but there's not a whole lot of heroes that can one-on-one zone out a Void. And Bounty Hunter and Chen don't pose any threats to him either, is the problem.
This Slaughter bats kind of fucked them over.
Yeah. Okay, what's the last hero then?
It's a Sven.
So that is a mid bat?
Yeah.
I don't agree with this at all. The Void is gonna destroy this one-on-one.
I think so too.
Not confident
Nope.
in Navi's picks at all. Jacob?
Judging by the silence of us, I think we're most of all puzzled by what NaVi is doing. Just a bit like, what is the purpose of these picks? The ending was just weird to me. But VP, great lineup again. Hey, go guys.
Okay, thanks to all three. We're going to head back to three fine gentlemen who are in the commentary box right now. I'm going to bring you game number 2.
Thanks very much, Paul. Indeed, we're just getting ready here. NaVi versus VP. I'm OD Pixel. I'm joined by Cap and Mr. Benwu. Game 1, guys, a little bit of a shambles for VP. They showed their strength in the early game in the laning stage, but NaVi just crushed them at the end of it, Cap.
Yeah, they really did, and it's kind of concerning because we're in the same, like, it's very much deja vu, where I'm looking at this lineup and I'm like, man, I really like VP's lineup, but then we felt that way about game 1, and they just really failed to execute. Like, Virtus.Pro looked probably the worst that I've ever seen them. Like, of iteration, it was just like, there was such a clear game plan that they were supposed to execute, they just, like, failed to. So hopefully they've worked out the kinks between game 1 and game 2, and they're gonna look a whole lot better, because they're gonna need it, because NaVi are certainly a team rising with just momentum as a whole. Just even, like, before the middle of Major, you could kind of feel it, where NaVi were gonna be good again. And they showed it at Manila somewhat, and I think they're going to continue to show it as they move on forward to TI.
I mean, Ben, would you agree with kind of Cap in the panel saying that VP's draft is pretty solid this time against NaVi's lineup?
Yeah, this is very reminiscent of game number 1. VP have a very strong team fight lineup. They're on Radiant. NaVi, they're on Dire again with the Slardar, with a better pickoff lineup. There are some odd pieces here and there with the Chen in particular that was drafted after the Crystal Maiden, and Dendi on Batrider, who doesn't necessarily scale as well, but they do have the Sven in the safe lane this time. So this game will probably expect Faceless Void to get similar amounts of farm as to the Tidehunter last game, but can they bring it all together in a team fight is a big question.
Well, Yoka was already always known for like more carry style offlaners, right? So maybe this will fit in his kind of ballpark a little bit better. Not sure.
No fair, actually rolling in and very aggressively here, wanting to kick something off. Suneko chipping away at FNG on the backlines, and they'll crush down. They'll take first blood, NaVi, and now they'll look for more. G potentially in trouble as well, as they'll chase him up to the high ground. 3 stacks of napalm. Johnny's gonna have a crush again, and here we have it, closing the gap. G falls for stick charges, he's gonna be enough to keep him alive. Turns towards Artstar, but no, they'll lose a second, and now Artstar taken down down by No Fear, but NaVi, they're going to find themselves the third here. 3 for 1 to open up the game. NaVi literally crushing VP there with General's performance, Ben.
And last game, they kind of had a redeeming laning phase. That was kind of the bright part of that game, and this game does not look like they're going to be that fortunate.
Yeah, they chose to go into a level 1 fight against a Batrider, and they just got sticky napalm slowly but surely to death. Trading for 3 for 1.
And Earth Spirit missed his role.
Yeah, I think Yoku really needs to be able to carry his team essentially, because he is going to be in a really favorable position. This is what like the panel was talking about. He's got essentially 1v1 because we've got 2 roamers on the side of NaVi.
It's not that sort of game, though. I don't think a solo offlane would carry the game. You need your Death Prophet to be strong, to not die, to be there for all these team fights. You need your Earth Spirit to hit his spells and be effective in the early game. You can't just have Void do well. Kind of like last game, Tidehunter did extremely well, but if they don't work together well in the mid game, they're still going to lose.
Well, maybe doing well in the laning phase means he's able to pick up like a faster blink dagger or something, and he gets the kind of initiations that ties the team fight together. But that was also what we expected out of the Tidehunter, and we didn't see it then.
That's bottom lane, General just coming around. Is going to get caught out by the stun. The pounce form is from Aloha Dance, though. General should be fine to walk this one off, but at the same time, it certainly looks like General, he's going to have a harder time on this lane compared to the Void on the off lane for VP.
Oh, certainly. This is like any lane where you don't have a blink mechanism against Slark is just scary, because this carry is able to offer so much kill power, and that's something that many other carries are not able to, simply because he has the disable of pounce.
And up in the top lane, looks like the Void and the Sven are getting similar amounts of CS. Bounty Hunter trying to interfere once again. And let's see, Chen, no smoke on him. He actually has a TP scroll. I think one thing that wasn't really discussed on the panel is the save from Chen onto the Faceless Void chrono target. I think having the send back is very, very important as a defensive tool for the Chronosphere when you don't have a bench swap or something similar.
Mid lane, the matchup between Dendi and G. Just slightly favoring G at the moment. 13 for 5 against Dendi's 9 for 2. So it's a strong start here for the Death Prophet. Top lane, Yoku being forced back.
Just trading hits with Seneko until he's forced to use the healing salve, but he's got a full wave coming to him, so he, I don't know, Ben, have you seen, we were talking about that max time lock build. Do you think this is one of those situations, because you're in a 1v1 half the time, that you do go for the max time lock again?
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be, they don't have low cooldown spells. The one that we saw a couple matches, but the Sven, the Stormbolt's like really long cooldown. That's really what you're scared of. Yeah. So as long as you can just avoid the damage after that, you should be okay. And it should help him 8 up in his farm, because as you mentioned, Yoku does like getting that gold.
Kind of seems like NaVi, I almost expected them to do more stacking with Artstyle, but he's spending more of his time like just farming as the Chen.
I mean, where does Artstyle look to kind of make his first movement on the Chen? What lane are you looking towards to get that potential for a gank off?
There's multiple avenues you can go. Like if you have a Satyr, you can just use it to handle the Faceless Void. He's out of consumables for regen, so they can just park the Satyr up there so that Sven gets really ahead in the lane. You can also do the same thing in the mid lane so that Batrider can do his thing. You can also just use your creeps to stack.
Bottom lane, as we see General getting caught out by Aloha Dance and No Fear. I mean, you guys said at the start it's going to be the trickier off lane, but at the same time, VP's off lane. Yoku could be in trouble. Artstyle coming with the wraparound. Have they got the chains tonight? It's more important if they got the damage with the Shadow Blast. They do. Artstyle tests the faith of Yoku and it comes back negative. The burst is there. 4 for 2.
That chain stun was like near perfect. I wasn't sure the Stormhammer. I thought maybe he threw it just a little bit too early, but they managed to get the Centaur there in time to combo that stun. And no time walk for the Void to be able to get out and get another kill. Jesus, Slardar is just getting eaten alive by Aloha Dance.
And this is General kind of slipping back on his performance. I mean, General normally a player that you can always rely on. He's a very, very reliable player in the off lane, but at the start of this game, giving these kills to a Slark, that's a little bit risky, Ben. This Slark's going to get potentially out of control.
Yeah, because Batrider isn't going to be able to effectively or reliably deal with him later. They don't have like a smoke screen like they did last game.
Mid lane, eyes onto Dendi. No Fear rolling in, will find the follow through stun, and Dendi has the fairy fire. Is it going to be enough to save? And Seneko slowing down No Fear. Dendi trying to do his best to get out of it, and with the Firefly, he will. The Crypt Swarm, it's not going to connect. Dendi plays his way around VP and will manage to survive that 3-man gang.
Well, I can't believe he turned around and went for that sticky napalm. I thought he was going to die to the Crypt Storm because of that, but he gets sent back to base. He'll be able to TP back in. One of the great things about the Chen. That free ride, so an unsuccessful gank doesn't really slow down the Bat Rider at all. They do have the difference between like our 4 positions at this point. Crystal Main doing the Frostbite jungling while Artstyle on the Chen is already level 5. And that's kind of be expected. Chen is always going to outfarm the CM, but question is, where's his first impact going to be made?
Lane trying to go on Dendy again, has the Firefly, starts to turn around, has 3 napalm stacks onto G. Just his pop, but Seneko underneath the tower. Unlikely that VP can go for that one. And again, VP offering a lot here, but at the same time, they're getting punished incredibly heavily. No fear, taken down relatively low. And again, we're just seeing this 3-man attempt mid being kind of put back every time just by the presence of a bounty hunter on top of Dendy.
Yeah, Artstyle finally makes his rotation over to mid. I think it was kind of needed earlier just because you know Virtus.Pro are going to try and put pressure on Dendy and prevent that Blink Dagger from being picked up. But I think Artstyle was kind of hoping he would get his level 6
no
before
fair.
he was
If
needed.
Seneko finds him here, Spirit, he's got to be careful. And he's keeping himself hidden in the trees. The pings were coming out from RMFNG, I think, just making sure that No Fair hangs back. Now try and move on to Dendy. Fading out No Fair, but Seneko coming close to the tower has now revealed his location, and Dendy could be in trouble. Silenced up, gets himself just above the last tower hit. Oh! Who doesn't get him? Dendy will get himself out. Again, this man, he just won't die, Ben.
He really won't. And Artstyle was very patiently waiting up there, trying to set up for some sort of gank.
Oh, never mind.
Right. I mean, the chrono, it didn't miss the cap.
No, he did not miss the chrono. You can always give him that much. Yoku, I think that was definitely needed.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the Chen is really high level, so he's a pretty valuable kill, and you're probably unlikely to see a better Chronosphere scenario anytime soon. The next Chronosphere should be linked up with maybe Crystal Maiden getting level 6 with Freezing Fields. You've got like a very clear kill combination that can kill even like the Sven. That could be the next hero you could show.
I would have liked to see Slardar come in for that because they were trying to wrap around the tower. Like Dendy was trying to push out the wave. Artstyle was posed up on top of the cliff with his 3 creeps, and then Seneko was to the south side. If they had another hero there to actually force a fight at the tower and not at that awkward position to the south of the Ancients, then I think they would have come up with a DP kill as well as significant damage on the tower.
Artstyle in general, now maybe going to start to make that move you talked about as a group, and here we have it, yeah, with the smoke, but it's going to be a smoke into a smoke, and VP, they'll have the high ground, but still kind of hanging around, allowing Seneko to climb up. No Fear with the kick, holding them back with that stun. And it looks like NaVi won't be able to find anything here, so fortunate positioning from VP, ensuring that NaVi don't get that wraparound that they were looking for.
And now Artstyle just needs so much time to build up his creep. He sent his Wildkin back home, but it died in base, and he had 3 creeps near that last engagement, but it's going to take him a couple more minutes, and this has significantly slowed down his farm.
It certainly has. The mech, it's pretty important for this team, and General is probably going to end up going down again. He managed to dodge the stun, but it's not enough.
Yeah, 3 heroes present. It's another bit of action here for Aloha Dance. I mean, this Slark, he's found so much in lane with the kills the General's been giving them, and the fact that he's had pretty much uninterrupted CS. He's 2-0-2. I mean, at this point, you just pick up an Iron Talon cap and just go jungle. Just screw the lane. I mean,
well, he's already got the Iron Talon, so he's kind of doing both. Like, he's Iron Taloning, and then he shows up to lane once it pushes in. But as we've seen, Virtus.Pro are very free to dive the tower because they know the Bounty Hunter and the Chen are always mid. And part of that is the pressure that they put on the lane early. We are going to see NaVi, they're about to hit like one of their timings. They've got these kind of weird timings, just like last game, where like the 10 to 20 minute marker, they're going to have a lot of opportunities to go for pickoffs. That is off the back of Dendy's Blink Dagger, obviously. So maybe they can start getting some the 2-man rotations, Dendy and the Bounty Hunter, moving around, getting pickoffs together, and maybe getting that level 6 so you can start getting track kills. The weird part is, like, they don't have a greedy 4 position to take over the mid when Dendy's gone.
Nice move from No Fear coming in with a kick. Have they got the damage to bring down Seneko? They've dropped Mangatage. This one, they'll find it. No Fear could be in trouble. The last tower hit, not going to do it. G has his back there, fills him up with the bottle. So No Fear will survive, and VP get away with that gank.
And the older build coming out from Dota with the HOD as opposed to the newer Armlet, and just constantly stacking up the Ancients himself. Oftentimes you'll just see Chen devote 1 creep purely to stacking the Ancients, but this will free him up to either speed up his own farm himself or pressure some other points around the map.
All right, well, here comes that Blink Dagger rotation. Gyoku, I think, is a pretty good target. And was a very easy kill, obviously, with Ditchirov. The big upside is they could have gone for the tier 1, but looks like VP have already made the counter rotation.
I want to try and go back in the pot the Ghost for this, but NaVi keep their distance. And just begs the question, is G actually going to be able to get to anything done with this Exorcism? There obviously is a tier 1 here.
He doesn't mind popping it. He had Arcane Rune. I think if he didn't have Arcane Rune, he'd be a little bit more judicious. But you're like, I can get a little bit of damage, but clearly that's not what you want out of big
Stop.
like
He's
that.
in trouble. Low Darts coming in, jumping straight onto the Chen. The Shadow Blade reveal. It will secure another kill for Low Darts. I mean, it really feels that at this rate cap, the progress of this slot really could come back to bite NaVi in the back.
Oh yeah, Art Style is just like, thanks, General. You fed away a really early Shadow Blade. Now, not all of that is General's fault. It was a really tough lane. Like, Earth Spirit gets the initiation on you, it guarantees pounce, and you're dead from there. So, it was just they keep giving him these tough lanes where he tries to survive, but maybe he should have just Iron Talon from the get-go. Virtus.Pro, they also have a lineup that is enabled because of the early Shadow Blade to go for these quick pickoffs, and they're going to do it again. Stop General from getting his Blink Dagger is a great idea.
General, he's starting to back up. Will duke out the stun. Silence connects, but Low Darts not wanting to dive this, at least for the time being. Still keeping an eye on him, and General, dukes out the jump here. It's a good job as well. He could have been in a fair bit of trouble. So General's going to live this time.
I think General, like, he knew what was coming in some ways, but he's got that Chen heal to back him up. So they went for a dive under their tier 2 tower. It actually may not have been a good idea for
Dire's
VP.
top tower is under attack.
And Sven has a lot of gold. He has enough money for Blink Dagger, but I'm curious as to what he's going to buy next. There is a 2-man smoke. Ditchirov and Denny heading towards Rune, even using the Warcry to boost him up a little bit.
Low Darts still eyes on General. Really wants to try and have a go, but General he's certainly playing a lot safer than he was earlier. Not giving any opportunity for this to happen. Top lane, as you said, with the smoke, Ditchirov and Dendy looking to catch out Yoku. Trying to head off to the side, see if Dendy can get the jump on. Courier is there, and Ditchirov maybe thinking about going for this one. Yoku has got a Chronosphere, but he's actually going to get stunned up. Dendy's there with a follow control with a lasso, and not a chance for Yoku to get the Chrono out. FNG walks into this one, does have backup, but the blink outs there from Ditchirov, TP's away, and NaVi, they get away with that one scot-free.
It's like Yoku didn't expect them to make that same kind of rotation from the Batrider again, but you have to understand, like, the Slark is just not a good hero for Dendy to try and gank. If he gets off the quick ultimate or Dark Pact, it just totally defeats the whole rotation. So if you have a value hero, oftentimes Death Prophet's a little bit off map, but he's got the supports behind him, so Yoku's kind of the free pick-off time and time again.
He thought about casting a Chrono. I saw him.
He did, yeah, he cancel casted it, yeah.
That would have been great. His team was ready for that. VP are playing much more like a team this game.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of setting up for the Faceless Void. They've TP'd twice top to help him out.
The first time they made that rotation, it was just like they're just maybe 2 seconds too late. They make the rotation a little bit preemptively. They could have cleaned up and taken the tier 1 tower immediately, and that would have sped up the game quite a bit for VP. Here, though, NaVi, they're getting some of the pickoffs that they need to keep Virtus.Pro off kilter, but...
Echo, 4 move in and Low Darts jumping in. Another kill for Slark, 4-0-2. VP, see if they want us to remain mid and go for a push. They have got Chronosphere available if NaVi want to try and fight, but NaVi, for the meantime, Dendy up top continues to farm, and bottom lane, Ditchirov just cutting the wave. VP may make a beeline to try and stop this.
Still a pretty good blink timing coming out from General despite the early deaths, and this may catch VP by surprise.
Ditchirov looks to be the one that might get surprised, but Low Darts now, he's not going to go for that one. FNG's found the easier kill on the back lines, and immediately presses to the slug to finish off Hostile. Pop with the freezing field here, FNG. Maybe a little bit unnecessary, but I guess at the least trying to...
All his creeps again.
This is more money here for this slot. In fact, G, he'll take him down with the crit swarm. How do they kill this slot, Cap? They've got to do something about him eventually, surely.
I'm not entirely sure what the game plan is for NaVi at this point. Because, like, the weird thing is, when they're farming up on the Sven and they're trying to rotate Dendy around, there's no, like, greedy 4 position from NaVi to place in the mid lane to take advantage of the farm opening there. It's not like a bound, like, this is twice now that Seneco's got caught out and he returns a 3rd time to go into the mid lane and try and, like, pick up some farm, some experience, maybe a couple of CS, but what's the point of playing a bounty hunter at this point? It's just, like, the weird, you know, double, like, they don't have a real support. They just have the bounty hunter and the Chen rotating around constantly.
They need the Chen to be doing this.
Yeah.
They need the Chen to be sitting and soaking mid and then apply pressure with his creeps.
General A bit of a misplay there with the early Yules missing the stun, but it might not matter. It doesn't look like it will. They move in, Siphon. General getting himself away for the meantime with the sprint. He's going to force VP to dive incredibly deep for this kill. Yoku drops the chrono, catches out General and Dendy, coming in with the reaction. The question is, can NaVi punish this? The track's starting to come out. VP on the retreat. Dendy jumps forward, unable to find anything, but now the ghosts come out. VP, they're ready to still fight. FNG will get picked off on the sidelines by Seneko. That's one track kill going the way of NaVi. G trying to move in, but Stormhammer's there. Ditchera turning back in, but they can't bite through G. He's too tanky at this point of the game, walks it off. Ghosts are going to be healing him up again in a second. So VP, just the 1-for-1 here. And yeah, NaVi unable to punish it anymore. So they do lose FNG, but they get another kill onto General.
Just bad execution doesn't allow them to get the immediate Sardar kill, and then they're forced to use the Chronosphere to ensure it, and that actually results in them not getting the tier 2 tower. Like, cleaner execution allows VP to take a much larger lead from that pickoff than they actually did. They also wouldn't have lost to the Crystal Maiden, and now the Exorcism, knowing that it's down, NaVi are going to go for Roshan, and then they've actually hold, like, maybe this team fight swing, where they're the ones perhaps dominant for 5 minutes because of an extra life.
Nice patience here, art style too. I think if he had used a...
General jumps out, catches out No Fear. The follow-through damage is there for Digidrop, but the freezing field is going to be cancelled. Art style being focused by Aloha Dance. That'll be the first one. If they can find anything more, but Digidrop working through G. Second one, a third one. Seneko picks them off on the sidelines, and they're chasing down Aloha Dance. Aloha Dance still eyes onto General. He's got to be careful though. NaVi still with a 4-man alive. Lasso's available from Denny, trying to close the gap onto Yoku. Flame breaks impact. Digidrop's there. General with the crush, and NaVi find themselves a fourth, a very convincing fight around the Roshan pit there for the side of NaVi, and they'll be sure to maybe head back in and finish that one off for themselves.
Ben, do you think Aegis was that big of a deal that you needed to try and fight them without Exorcism?
Or Chronosphere.
Yeah, or Chronosphere.
Then maybe if like Slark had wrapped around and picked off one of the supports really quickly, like Chen, I would say like maybe, but they're just going to take down Roche way too quickly with the amplified damage in there. They're forced into a position that they didn't want to be in the first place and shouldn't have been in.
Yeah, these are the kind of mistakes that Virtus.Pro, like the lineup looks fine, but it falls apart if you don't execute properly, and well,
Virtus throws back.
Yeah. It really is. I like Artstyle is now trying to like push out lanes as a Chen half the time. When he was doing it in mid, it was okay because he could take that tier 1 tower. But once he was gone, it's like, okay, now what do you do as the Chen? Because you can't push forward enough to threaten a tier 2, most likely.
Needs to be careful. I don't think he's going to be careful enough. Indeed, Lardarts finds the bounce connect. Master pops the mech. The Crimson Burst, they'll take him down. Don't do anything in return. Immediately, Ditcherard jumping onto No Fear. The trap is there as well from Artstyle, helping out from the grave. And NaVi will find a kill in return. G and Lardarts on the retreat. Doesn't look like NaVi will be able to catch them. They're trying their best. Dendy with the Firefly. Actually, he's got the first napalm on. Maybe this will be enough to allow them to start to close the gap. G's just a little bit too speedy, and NaVi won't pursue. So just a 1-for-1 trade there. And
that was very dangerous. Chen almost had his ultimate up when they went on him. They might have not even gotten the Chen kill at that point. And feeding 1-for-1 against Track, not so great. I don't think Seneko was there for that fight though.
Kind of think they just need to, like, when they have Chronosphere and Exorcism, go for the clean pickup where you go like push down mid, you make an initiation with Chronosphere, you get the pick off, and then take a tower. But when that's down, I think they just need to let Aloha Dance do Aloha Dance things. He's a great carry. Just have him move around, get pickoffs around the map, and even if he's not doing that, he's probably like farming up the dire jungle. This team doesn't like scale as poorly as the last.
Ditcherard, this would be a great kill to start the fight off if VP can get away with it, but Ditcherard pops the wall, Crank pull the silence, comes out, General with the crush, holding Aloha Dance in place with the siphons out. Ditcherard with a 3-man stun, he can't get himself away. Yoku with the first hit bash. That's the Aegis hitting the decks. So keeping control of Denny on the sidelines with a freezing field as well. They've got more than enough damage here by looks of it to bring down Ditcherard. They'll get the kill that they were after. Now with the Ghost up, they'll take the tier 1 almost certainly after the fortification wears off from NaVi. And NaVi just not prepared for that smoke initiation from VP at all.
That was finally a great Chronosphere from Yoku.
Yeah, making sure the Sven couldn't blink out on his second life. Very smart.
Although he tried to like time walk off the track, so I'm not sure what's going on here.
Yeah. Looks like they've got an additional pickoff on Artstyle.
I mean,
so
7-0-5 on this slot. It's pretty much been a perfect slot game, Cap.
Oh yeah, this is like The thing is, they did exactly what they needed to for once. They actually went for like the 5-man push. They got a like guaranteed kill from the Chronosphere and the Exorcism. There's no way NaVi could fight back, even with an Aegis. They just couldn't go into that. It's too much. The Chronosphere, freezing field, all of that is too many team fight abilities for them to go into. So you get the free pickoff, you take a tower. In fact, they took 2, and they've got additional pickoffs on like the Chen as well. So now it's NaVi's time to strike back, but Virtus.Pro shouldn't be looking for a fight. They shouldn't necessarily even be grouped up. They can just kind of spread out, play really defensively, maybe not even sit around their tier 1 tower. I think that's a kill just kind of waiting to happen, because I think NaVi would very likely go for a smoke rotation through the Radiant jungle, go for a pickoff, and then take that tier 1. That's like a classic play going around 15 minutes.
Chen's not been particularly useful this game on the side of NaVi. He was farming very, very well. He had like level 4 in like 4 or 5 minutes, but right now he's very low on net worth. This is not where art style needs his Chen to be. He generally is like, I think, a 3rd on net worth on NaVi's team, but he's...
Do you think they should fight this? No Exorcism, no Chronosphere?
Yeah.
They got Chrono.
They have a little bit of time.
He's looking to make a beeline straight for Dendy, but Dendy already jumps in, grabs out G, moves to the side, the freezing field from FNG. That's pretty huge. Seneca will catch it with the Scenario Sugar, but there's Chronosphere coming in, catching 3. Ditchera taken down on the sidelines. Now VP looking to clean up more. They've lost G. They will actually end up losing No Fair as well. Artstyle trying to get himself out of this. FNG with the right clicks. Yoko jumps forward. He'll find Artstyle. So a 2-for-2 trade. Hello, down, see if he can catch out General as well, but the blink out's there. And Slaughter will manage to get himself out of it. So just a 2-for-2 trade there between the teams.
He didn't actually manage to get that Sven in that Chronosphere, and that Sven finished off the Death Prophet. That would have been a much bigger deal if Death Prophet had lived and they could push a T2 with Exorcism, but unfortunately for them, G keeps on dying.
You were down with NaVi taking that fight, right?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. I think it was. I think in some ways, like it worked out okay. They traded 2 for 2 against Track, whatever. But I think it was like an unnecessary risk in some ways for Virtus.Pro to try and defend that tier 1 without their ultimates. But I guess the Chronosphere just came off, and obviously Yoko used it near perfectly. Obviously, him not catching this Sven did screw G, but that's okay. It still won the rest of the fight.
Well, the dance. Thinking about that one.
There's a gem now on Dendy.
Yeah.
And I think if VP don't go for that fight, though, it's just a really bad precedent for them. Because VP, they're supposed to be stronger at fighting NaVi with even net worth, which is kind of where it is. And yeah, they didn't have Exorcism, but it was really close to being off cooldown. And if they do that, then NaVi just take control of that right side of the map. That T1 tower is still alive.
Yeah, it really is. Maybe the next part that NaVi... They could try and get aggressive when like that small window where Chronosphere was down. Obviously, they chose not to do that. I think they're waiting on the BKB of this Sven. Plus, he'll have level 3 God Strength. So you're going to hit a really big peak of team fighting power where if they get the right kind of initiation, if they catch G, like Sven can just burst him down in like 3 hits, and then the fight is kind of won from there. Just because Loha Dance, while he's strong, I'm not sure if he actually competes with the Sven. They really need the Death Prophet in outputting damage with Exorcism to guarantee they win the fight.
I don't think they necessarily need Death Prophet, just because like the Slark and the Slark will cause a lot of havoc in the backlines because they just can't lock them down. Amp will get dispelled, Bat Rider can't really deal with the Slark, and he can just kind of build up stacks in the back line, and then eventually NaVi will kind of group up around him. That was kind of very fortunate that then he was able to nag G there with the lasso, because the Slark was just right on his tail. And if they had gotten the jump on Bat Rider, it would have been like a 0 for 3.
I think in many ways, though, this is like, once NaVi do have that BKB, this is their best chance to fight, right? Like, this is their biggest peak, where as this game draws out, you're getting more situations where you're susceptible to, like, one good Chronosphere, and the Slark's getting bigger, and you just lose that fight. And with this kind of, like, transitional lineup where you're able to win a team fight so heavily because of your big ultimates, and then you also have the great pushing power of DP, the games are just, like, more opportunities for Virtus.Pro to wipe you.
I think you're underestimating the tankiness of this Sven, though. If he has BKB and Warcry, like, they're not going to be able to kill him, Exorcism or not. So if they can have him like super nice and tanky in the front line, maybe send back to counteract the Chronosphere, I think they can outlast VP.
It's going to few fights start like this. Aloha Dance finding a quick pick. Artstar just a little bit too far outside of the base. And Aloha Dance continuing his streak now, and off the back of that, VP, they'll be prepared to move up with the Ghost. General starts to lay down the Amplifier. Actually caught up by the Yours. Aloha Dance jumping in. And General, he's going to get taken down as well. NaVi going to have to hold the fort with 2 down. There's a buyback available on Slardar. But still, Freezing Field and Chronosphere available for VP, and with a good amount of duration up on the Ghost. Virtus.Pro in a fantastic position to maintain this high ground push, looking to be a little bit respectful of the jump-in potential of Dendi, not wanting to get caught out by the lasso. So it looks like they will actually hold back. And it just seems that this game encounters a lot more composure from VP. They're just not throwing as much as they were game one.
Yeah, they backed away from a team fight. That says a lot about Virtus.Pro, right? Like, the fact that they didn't try and continue to max UCXs and they still had Chronosphere up and everything. And they're like, no, no, no. There's no need to force that fight because they can just back up, reset, control the map, continue to farm up, get the Slark bigger and bigger. He's going to be going for an Abyssal Blade eventually. And even if like the Sven becomes like too tanky to deal with, even if he becomes a hero that like you can't actually focus down fast enough in the team fight, look at the rest of NaVi. Like they're just not that strong past 30 minutes. Like Bounty Hunter is purely utility based off of the gold that he picks off. Chen is like maybe a send back when you start going late game plus the Golem aura, but he's not really that impactful past 30 minutes. Then it just leaves Sven and amplify damage.
VP have been playing a lot cleaner, but I also think NaVi have been just feeding a lot more. Firstly, general into offlane, giving away those few deaths to the Slark, which led to the Shadow Blade, which leads to where we are now, and then art style feeding away 9 kills and a lot of Chen creeps.
Very much like kind of a pointless Chen game. They seem to like pick up Chen just because they're NaVi art style, always in the jungle with his junglers, but it just. Fundamentally, this wasn't going to work with the way that Virtus.Pro drafted.
Still, if Sven gets strong enough, I think he can dish out a damage, especially with amplified damage. But a lot does rely on Tutia Ra.
55 seconds before Roche is up. It looks like VP want to take a fight before that respawn. Try and catch a bit of NaVi off guard. Notan's already with the D-Ward and VP. Wrapping around, but at the same time, NaVi there smoked up. They could catch VP off guard and jump in. General catches too with a crush. Didra immediately looking to focus onto G, but G uses himself up. FNG with a freezing field. It's doing huge amounts of damage. The Chrono will come out, actually cancelling FNG's freezing field. He ends up going down, but VP, they've already found Seneko. Looking towards Arstel. Double kill for Lower Dance. Now Didra, he could be in trouble as well. Indeed, Lower Dance still has the Shadow Dance available. He's stealing a lot of essence. Just stacks. They're going to be able to find the Sven kill. Another one for VP. 4 down on NaVi, and again, the fight pretty much perfect there from the team.
Where's Dendi been in these fights?
I don't know. Where's the follow-up off of that crush? Right?
Yeah, that was a 3-man crush.
3-man crush with Sven immediately on top of the Death Prophet, swinging away, and the cleave was hitting the Void. If it wasn't for the Yule Scepter and he got one more hit in, he kills Yoku on the side with cleave, who had amplified damage on him before he time walks, and then that fight is entirely different. There's no Chronosphere. They just didn't have the follow-up off of Slithering Crush because they needed that additional disable from Dendi. And it's also the fact that if we only talk of Dendi because they've got a 4 and 5 position that don't output disables, right? You've got a Chen and a Bounty Hunter. It's not like they're going to follow that initiation up.
Snake is moving into force them back. NaVi now getting heroes back on the map. Eyes on to Yoku. See if they can chase this one down. General can look for a potential jump at the same time. Lower Dance, he's ready to go back into the fight. Shadow Dance back available. 17 stacks built up on the Essence Shift. And next time the Octarine Core, it's going to be there for G. So VP, they just really stepped up their performance here in Game 2. And certainly NaVi on the back foot, Ben. I mean, what do they do to swing this one back round?
I think we all agree that VP had a stronger draft at this point, so they just need pretty much what exactly happened last time, like 3-man stun into another 3-man stun into killing the Death Prophet. The only problem is Death Prophet didn't die last fight. They just need to execute slightly better, continue the chain stun with
Stop. Force back, and Lower Dance jumps in. The crush will hold him. Didra looking for the wrap round. The damage here, huge amounts, but not quite enough to get the kill. Yule's up on G. Didra trying to chase, will take down the Death Prophet. They'll lose no fear on the Earth Spitter as well. NaVi this time, they've found 2. They give themselves anything more. Lower Dance, Yoku heading off to the west. NaVi on hot pursuit. And they get this, Dendi, eyes onto it, but Yoku now goes for the Chrono. Gives Dendi a couple of slaps, then realizes, okay, let's not mess around with this team. Backs himself off. So this time VP, hanging around for a little bit too long, looking to get themselves in off the back of a good boulder smash for no fear, but immediately the reactions there from NaVi, and Didra, if he gets a lock onto you, he does an insane amount of damage on this Sven.
Yeah, twice in a row, NaVi have found the greater initiation in this team fight. If it ever gets the way of VP, it's like the fight's easily won, but Good attempt there with a Force Staff, trying to get the lucky right-click bash in. But NaVi are going to be able to get Roshan for themselves. This is huge. Like, they get the Aegis, they can actually... Unfortunately, the lanes are pushing in, so they have to deal with that first. But if they can get some control of the map with this Aegis and then push in, looks like VP are going to try and contest, though.
And they do this, though. They're heading straight up to the pit. Loadout's always got a double damage through this slug. He's incredibly dangerous, jumping immediately in. He's going to try and steal the Roshan, but he's killed by the Dire. Who's going to pick up the Aegis? Dendi will still grab it. NaVi looking to get themselves out, though. VP, they've got the superior punching power. Yoku's taken down one. Did you rather go straight? Jumping in onto NoFear. The Earth Spirit going to get taken down by this Sven. Eyes towards the low hard dance. He's actually had to disengage on the slug. Towards the north, Yoku playing around with NaVi. The BKB's now worn off for Ditra. Siphon chasing him. Yoku jumping in with the time dilation. Slow the bash as well. Ditra in a lot of trouble and they'll lose the Sven. Dendi on the retreat. Has got that Aegis for VP. Maybe able to kill him twice. There'll be a buyback for Seneko. Killed him once. Buyback as well for Ditra. Seneko. Oh, it's a dieback immediately. They've lost the bounty hunter. And VP, they're not done. Jumping in with a diffuser blade slow onto Dendi. Silence onto 2. A lower dance out of mana though. Has to be careful. But Yoku, he's ready to jump in the Crypt Swarm for G. They'll get themselves another Yoku. He's not done. Yes, he is. NaVi will finally shut him down with a freezing field from FNG. Forcing NaVi back. Crypt Swarm. They'll take another. VP just running into NaVi's base. They'll try and punish this now. Ditra jumping in. Looking for FNG, but FNG holds him back. Goes for the team of the creeps. They kill FNG. VP needs to get themselves out of here. General continuing to chase them outside of the base. Can he get the vision onto G? G turns around with the silence to lower down. Turns straight back into General. Will get the kill onto the Slardar. Dendi and Ditra are left alive, but no fair. The boulder smash onto 2. A lower down fights Dendi. Jumps forward. The Yule setup's going to be there. Is there any escape for this phone? We'll get the blink out. No fair. Moving forward. Gets the magnetize onto Arstyle. Ditra's moved on to left with the BKB. He's going to survive, but Arstyle doesn't look to be as lucky as VP. They're just going full YOLO here, and it's working an absolute treat. Beyond godlike now on the slot. And VP now in a position with NaVi 3 men down. What a fight for them there, Kat.
That fight went on so long that Aloha Dance ran out of mana. He's got 1,500 mana, and he threw enough pounces and Shadow Blades and ultimates that he actually ran out of mana. He couldn't keep killing people because he was running low on resources. Honestly, you're seeing the like, we very clearly, like, VP had the better draft, and many of the reasons why is you look at NaVi's team fight, and it's just like, if you don't win the fight in the first 5 seconds, that's what it is. First 5 seconds, initiation, and Sven hitting people during the stun time. If he doesn't manage to kill or at least threaten a bunch of people, the fight's over. Like, he's just going to draw out, they're going to kite the Sven, and Slark's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger off of these acid shifts.
They've possibly got one more fight, NaVi. They're going to have the full 5-man backup. Yeah, VP, they'll take the Soul Racks, 1 tier 4, but there's still a tier 2 standing on the bottom lane, so NaVi looks like they'll live another day, Ben, but they just lost so much there.
Yeah, this game just does not seem like a place where a Chen should be. He's just not been able to follow up. Like, Dira is doing everything that he can. He's almost killing the Death Prophet at the start of each and every one of these fights, but don't follow up.
He's found a Crystal Maiden. And she won't be a Maiden for much longer as NaVi rip her to pieces. We'll take down 1.
And now only a 6-second BKB left on the Sven, so his days are numbered. Even an Atos coming out on the Crystal Maiden, she was finishing it up on that side of the map, and the Abyssal on the Slark to even just kill him through BKB. And I don't think the Iraq can carry this.
Certainly not. They've got to get just like Virtus.Pro actually have to group up in a cluster in order to make the fight okay for NaVi. You know, you have to have positional errors from VP to actually make the kind of AoE stuns work, where you've got the really good crush, a 2 or 3-man crush, follow up Stormbolt, you cleave through the heroes, you take them out, fights 3 versus 5, and you clean up what you can. But if it's not that, they make the kind of initiation like just on 1 hero, even if it's just like, say they target on the Death Prophet, but they throw all their disables just on her, and yes, they manage to kill her, but it means that there's a good Chronosphere still out. Aloha Dance is right-clicking people away. Virtus.Pro can still win that fight. So it's like NaVi are so far behind that they just got to go for the kind of Hail Mary play.
And back during the draft, Bambo was much preferring like an Invoker or something on Dendi, and this is one of the main reasons why. Like on the Batrider, he hasn't died. He's only died 2 times, right? That's very low on the Batrider, but look at his net worth. He's number 8. He's even behind General, who was feeding early on in the game. And he tends to play these like playmaker heroes in a much different style, in that he like doesn't get that much farm, whereas you need to be able to go in. You have to die sometime just for the team, and I think he's been a little bit too hesitant on the Batrider this game, and it's been very costly in the team fights.
It comes down to the issue of like the big problems of single core Sven once you push past 30 minutes.
around. Didgeridoo jumping onto G, looking to take the death profit out of the fight, but again, the timing for the Yules is there. G keeping himself alive and get himself away. The Chrono coming in, catches Didgeridoo. Snake dead. He tries to jump in with the lasso, with a freezing feel from FNG again, doing so much of these fights. They've lost Didgeridoo, they've lost Dendy, and again, NaVi in a position where 2 permanently dead. GG is called. And VP, boys, after a disappointing performance in Game 1, came back with an absolute spectacle here in Game 2.
They finally incorporated Aloha Dance into the lineup, and I think once I saw that smoke from them coming out around 18 minutes, I was like, okay, VP actually know how to use their lineup this time.
Yeah, they really did. It seemed like they were much more willing to group up earlier. They actually played around with Yoko as well. Like, that was another one that was missing in Game 1, and he got he got one at least really good Chronosphere that won them the fight. I think Virtus.Pro actually looked kind of decent, but again, it was, I feel like, a heavy outdraft. I would like to see in Game 3 an even draft, and then we'll really see where these teams lie, because VP stepped up their game slightly, but they were enabled by their draft. What happens if things are even?
I mean, going into the Game 3, Ben, I mean, is it as simple as we won't see necessarily, I mean, the art style Chen, obviously something that he's incredibly strong on, but this draft-wise, it just wasn't the game for a Chen, or do you feel he just didn't achieve enough early on? Like, it could have worked?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see something a little bit different. I think maybe just more aggression from Enchantress, or even something more team-fighty like an AA.
And maybe just looking to put a little bit of priority to actually trying to kill Aloha Dance. I mean, he finishes 14-0-15.
Well, maybe pick up some heroes that allow you to actually gank Aloha Dance. The Chen Bounty Hunter was rather weird and certainly didn't work out in this game.
We'll see what's going to happen in Game 3, ladies and gentlemen. So don't go anywhere. More action from VP and NaVi right around the corner.